Okay, lesson 12, subtracting mixed numbers. The first thing I'm going to do is subtract my whole numbers. And the goal here is to get my whole numbers down as low as I possibly can. So I moved 1/4 outside of the parentheses. If I subtract 3 minus 2, I'm left with 1 1/5 minus 1/4. Now the problem here is I can't move the 1 outside of the parentheses because 1/5 is smaller than 1/4, and I can't subtract something that's larger from something that's smaller. So I'm going to make that a mixed. I'm going to make the mixed number an improper fraction. So 1 times 5 plus 1 is 6/5. Now another way to look at it, I can look at 1 1/5 as 5/5 plus 1/5, and that equals 6/5. So we will subtract 6/5 minus 1/4. Now to find the common denominator, multiply 5 times 4. 5 times 4 equals 20. 6 times 4 equals 24. 4 times 5 equals 20. 1 times 5 equals 5. 24 minus 5 equals 19. So my answer is 19/20. Okay, let's look at B. Rewriting the problem, 4 2/5 minus 3. All I'm doing is moving the 3/4 outside of the parentheses. That will give me the chance to subtract my whole numbers first. 4 minus 3 is 1. So 1 2/5 minus 3/4. Now if I look at this, my second fraction is larger than my first, so I have to change this mixed number to an improper fraction. So in order to do that, I'll do 1 times 5 plus 2. That's 7/5 minus 3/4. Another way to look at the mixed number, I can do 5/5, which is equivalent to 1, plus 2/5, and that gives me 7/5. Again, we have 20 as the common denominator. 5 times 4 is 27 times 4 is 28. 4 times 5 is 20. 3 times 5 is 15. 28 minus 15, 8 minus 5 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. So I have 13/20 for my answer. Okay, let's go down and look at C. When I get down here to C, things are going to look a little differently. We're going to use a different strategy because when I subtract my whole numbers, I'm left with a number that's larger than 1 whole. So subtracting whole numbers, I just move the 1/3 outside the parentheses. 7 minus 4 is 3. So I'll have 3 1/5 minus 1/3. Again, my second fraction is larger, so I can't just move the 3 outside the parentheses. In order to do this, I'm going to borrow 1 from the 3. So 3 1/5, just write that off to the side somewhere. We're going to make a number bond. Now remember, on a number bond, we're going to add up to equal 3 1/5. I said I'm going to borrow 1 from the 3. So if I borrow 1 from the 3, that leaves me with 2. Now the 1 I borrowed, I'm going to make a fraction. And I'm going to make the fraction 5/5 for the 1 I borrowed, plus 1/5 for the fraction I have left over. So this is 2 plus 1 plus 1/5. So in my problem, I'm going to add 2 to the answer I get. So 5/5 plus 1/5 is 6/5. And I'm subtracting 1/3. All right, common denominator for 5 and 3 is 15. 5 times 3 equals 15. 6 times 3 equals 18. Don't forget to bring your 2 down because you're going to add it to your answer. 3 times 5 equals 15. 1 times 5 equals 5. So my answer to this problem is 2 and 18 minus 5, 13 fifteenths. Okay, going over to D. We'll use the same strategy. We'll decompose once we subtract our whole numbers. So start by subtracting whole numbers. 7 and 2/5 minus 5. Move the 2/3 outside the parentheses. Okay, 7 minus 5 is 2. So I have 2 and 2/5 minus 2/3. Decomposing 2 and 2/5, and I don't have to make it a number bond, I can just draw 3 lines. I'll borrow 1 from the 2, so that leaves me 1. The 1 I borrowed will become a fraction, and 2/5 is the fraction I have left over. So I'm adding 5 plus 2 to get 7/5. And don't forget to add 1 to your answer. So I have 7/5 minus 2/3. Common denominator for 5 and 3 is 15. 7 times 3 is 21. 2 times 5 is 10. So my answer is 1 and 11 fifteenths. Okay, let's take a look at the last two. These are similar to ones we've already done. I'm looking at E right now and I can see that I'm going to have a whole number of 1 when I finish subtracting the whole numbers. Just move 1/3 to the outside. So that leaves me with 1 and 2/7 minus 1/3. For this one, 1 and 2/7, I don't need to borrow 1. I'm just going to use the 1, make it 7/7, then add 2/7. So I will get 9/7 minus 1/3. Common denominator for 7 and 3 is 21. 7 times 3 is 21. 9 times 3 is 27. 3 times 7, 1 times 7. Now remember, I already got rid of my 1 because I changed it to 7/7, and that gave me 9/7. So I don't have to worry about adding it in. My answer is 21/20. F, we're almost done. Remember, I want to subtract my whole numbers first. So 9 and 2/3 minus 2. And I move 6/7 to the outside. Okay, 9 minus 2 is 7 2/3 minus 6/7. Okay, 7 2/3 I can't subtract because 6/7 is larger than 2/3. So I'm going to decompose this mixed number. 7 2/3. Going to borrow 1 from the 7, so that leaves me 6. The 1 I borrowed, I will make a fraction. So this time my fraction is 3/3 because my denominator is 3, plus 2/3. So I'm going to have 6 plus 5/3. 6 plus 5/3 minus 6/7. Common denominator for 3 and 7 is 21. Three times 7 is 21. 5 times 7 is 35. 7 times 3 is 21. 6 times 3 is 18. Now, if you're concerned about subtracting correctly, go ahead and write the standard algorithm because there's regrouping. You can regroup in your head, that's fine. 15 minus 8 is 7. 2 minus 1 is 1. So my answer here is 6 17/21.